And we are back to cover live North Korea's major announcement they're supposed to be making. I want to make sure that you can hear me and see me, so let me just make sure here. Okay, I think you can hear me and see me. We seem to be looking good so far. If there's some kind of technical problem, please reach out to me on Twitter and let me know. I'm at LOOKNER. So give me a shout if you can't hear me or see me or there's some issue. But I think everything is going okay right now. So what's going on here, for those of you who might not know, is earlier this evening, so that would have been July 4th morning in North Korea did a missile test. And as they've been doing every couple of weeks or so over the last, months, a few years. But the thing is, this missile test was a little different because we started to hear the figures about how far it flew and how long it flew and how high it went. And a number of experts who analyze missile stuff have analyzed this and have said, this is an ICBM. This is an intercontinental ballistic missile. This is the first one they've tested. This is what the experts are saying. And this missile has the range to hit Alaska. That's what a number of experts have said. Now, the U.S. government has not acknowledged this yet. The U.S. Pacific Command, soon after the missile test, announced that it was an intermediate range missile, not an ICBM. But all of these experts online have been analyzing the data, and a number of them who do this for a living have said this is an ICBM. And then, about an hour and a half ago, North Korea announced all of a sudden, we are going to have a major announcement at, it would be 2:30 a.m. It's supposed to be 2:30 a.m. Eastern time. Now let me see. I'm going to show you right here. I want to put this on. Okay, so that's what they're showing right now. Oh my gosh. This is live. This is North Korea TV. Can I get sound? Is there sound even? Oops, sorry. I'm sorry, I can't. If I talk and have sound, I think we might have some issues. So you can hear they're playing patriotic music. That is live. That's live North Korea TV. Now, I think I'm going to leave it on that. But the thing is, I think that might be, I'm wondering, is that Kim Jong-Un's dad or is that his grandfather, who was the founder of North Korea, or the first ruler? I don't know. Anyways, so I'm going to leave it on that picture, but obviously I don't know Korean, so what I'm going to do is leave it on this picture, and hopefully they show the thing as it happens. And as it happens, my plan is to go along on my Twitter where somebody out there will be translating this, and then I'll bring you what's going on, what the translation is as I get it in here. So that's the plan, and it said it was going to start. The announcement was going to be at 2:30 Eastern. Now it's interesting, we just caught them going from the test signal to this picture. Now what's happening? I'm so confused. Let's get a little sound again. Hold on, I'm going to get you a little more sound of this. Okay, so that you're hearing the patriotic music playing, and I think that might be Kim Jong-Un's dad, and I think the first guy might have been Kim Jong-Un's grandfather, who was the first ruler of North Korea, which was a new country that came into being after World War II. So this announcement, a big question about this announcement that's going to happen in, I guess, 25 minutes from now is, will they announce that they have tested an ICBM that can hit America, it can hit Alaska at least? Will they announce this? That's a big question right now. Now, I'm also going to check my Twitter and see. Let's see here. Oh, sorry. And we just got to hold on one second here. I'm doing a bunch of things at once here. I also want to say, by the way, we are Right Side Broadcasting. We are an alternative to the mainstream media. We're bringing this to you live. I don't know if the mainstream media, who've been not really covering the story tonight much at all, are they finally covering it now? I'm going to do a quick check. No, rerun on Fox. All right, so CNN has actually gone to live coverage, so finally they did it. But for hours, they weren't covering it. Anyways, but, we just want to let you know, we're an alternative mainstream media. We're small. We don't have big donors, and we rely on viewer support to stay on the air. And we're not even getting we did a video before of we covered the North Korean missile test, and thousands of people watched it. We're not going to make any ad money on it because YouTube said to us, your content for this video is not advertiser friendly. So we'll literally make $0.00 from that first video, even though thousands of people watched it. So to stay on the air, we need funds, obviously, and we rely on your donations. So if during the broadcast you think, I like being able to watch this coverage, hope you consider donating to us, because that's how we stay on the air. And if we get money from you, we can be on the air more and bring more coverage to you, which is what we really want to be doing. If you'd like to donate, go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate, or you can donate in the YouTube chat room. Next to the broadcast, there's a chat room on YouTube, and at the bottom of the chat room, there's a $sign. You can click on that $sign. That lets you donate. And by the way, so I'm watching on my other screen this YouTube feed of North Korea state TV, and someone made a donation to North Korean state TV, and it was just amazing to me. It's like, hey, we're going to donate money to you. Well, hey, freedom of speech. People can support what they want. Okay, what to do next? Are they making an announcement yet? Let me just see. Let me check the audio here. Okay, I just want to make sure. I assume when they make the announcement, they're going to have somebody, actually a human being, come on the air and say something. So I'll keep my eye on this. We're going to keep on this right now. But I want to show you a couple other things. Let's see. So North Korea TV is rolling. Everybody's talking about this online. They're not making the announcement yet. I want to show you a tweet. Real quick, I'll come back to this. But Jean Lee, who covers North Korea, she said, I want to show you what she said. She said right there, no, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this one. She said, now, if it was a successful test of Icbm designed to strike U.S., then North Koreans will be celebrating in the streets. That's what Jean Lee says. Let's go back to the footage, though. So this you're watching right there, this is a live shot of North Korea State TV. That's where the announcement will be. I'm not going to play you the audio of that because none of us will understand it. But what I'm going to do is leave that up there. And we'll see. Will they announce? Will they confirm what a number of experts have been saying in the last hour on Twitter, that they have successfully tested an Icbm? They have never tested a missile with that length before that could, in theory, hit the U.S. Now, they don't, so reportedly, they have not yet been able to miniaturize a nuclear warhead to make it small enough to put it on one of these missiles. But that would be like the last obstacle they have to making a nuclear missile that could hit the United States. So I would love to hear if you have any comments about this whole story, which is really breaking and a huge story. Huge. If it turns out they did test an Icbm, that is just huge news. Then it'll make you wonder, like, does President Trump get a new sense of urgency to do something about this North Korea issue? So will he change his mind, his policy about what to do? Don't know. If you want to write in and give a comment, I'm happy to read it on the air. At Lookner on Twitter, at Lookner, or email me, steve.lookner@rsbn.tv. That information's on your screen right now. Thanks, by the way, to the moderators in the chat room for moderating the chat tonight. Okay. I'm going to check and see. Okay, this is just in. South Korea's President Moon says North Korea's launch may have been an Icbm. So South Korea's president is now saying this. And interestingly, U.S. Pacific Command earlier in the evening said it's an intermediate range missile, but that would not be an Icbm. And we've heard nothing more from the U.S. government about this yet. Okay. Ethan Brewster says you can hear and see me on my end, and so does Webster. Thank you guys for letting me know. Let's see, I just want to check and make sure I'm getting to all your comments here. Teresa Poole says, why are we not shooting these missiles down while in international waters? So I had heard a couple months ago there was this rumor going around that the U.S. might start shooting down missiles that North Korea tested. So there's various reasons you can think of to not do this. Might it be dangerous? Might you not want to reveal the extent of your anti-missile technology? Might you not want to provoke North Korea? There's lots of different reasons for this that you could think of. I don't know what the reason is, but you know, it's a good question because it was brought up and talked about. I'm sure there is some reason. I just don't know what it is. Let's see. Aaron Evanson had written me, what about Hawaii? I'm not sure if this, what is the distance between, hold on a second here. Distance from Alaska to North Korea is 3552 miles. Distance from North Korea to Hawaii is 7501 km2 miles is 4660. So it's actually, it looks like, I think it's questionable whether this new missile could hit Hawaii or not. I have not heard anybody say it could, but they have said it could hit all of Alaska. If it is indeed the missile that the experts that I've read are saying it is, that was tested tonight. Okay. Carter J. Bonnell says, what would the possible responses be by President Trump, especially on Independence Day, assuming this is an ICBM? Well, so I don't think you're going to see, like, personally, I don't think even if a military action is being considered, you're not going to see it like the day after. I think there's got to be, like, maybe President Trump will make some big speech tomorrow. Maybe he won't. Maybe he'll call other world leaders. Maybe he'll convene some kind of big meeting. Maybe there'll be a UN Security Council meeting about this tomorrow. So don't know. I would think you'll hear something about from President Trump. Maybe he'll even tweet right after this announcement. I wonder if President Trump is awake right now, going to watch this announcement. I don't know. And good question. Thanks, Carter, for writing in. Also, and again, definitely significant. Remember, North Korea tested this missile on Independence Day, on July 4th. It was July 4th in North Korea. So they very well might have had this ICBM and waited to test it until July 4th. So that's really like directed at the U.S. So will President Trump respond to this? If it's true that it is an ICBM, will President Trump respond in some way tomorrow? Don't know. Let's see here. I'm just looking to get more messages from you guys and take your comments and questions. On the screen now is North Korean State TV. They're going to be making this major announcement in about 17 minutes. We're leaving that footage up there. We're not giving you the sound. It's a lot of patriotic music. I don't think we're legally allowed to play that anyway. But also, if I play the sound and I talk, it gets all confusing and you might not be able to hear me. So we'll leave the sound off. When the speech starts, I'll do my best to get real-time translation for you. I assume somebody on the web will be posting that, and then we'll tell you what the announcement is. Let's see. Ethan Brewster says, if they shoot one nuke at us, they got a whole bunch coming for them. So Ethan, I don't disagree with you that, like, if they was to launch a nuclear missile at us, it would be suicidal for them. But the worry is that Kim Jong-Un is not a stable leader, perhaps. And this is a guy who, either was it his half-brother or his step, I think it was his half-brother, he had assassinated a couple months ago in the Malaysia airport. And, he's shown he might be somewhat unstable. People aren't sure. And you, maybe at some point, that person just fires a missile. That's the worry. So, I agree with you, but it's still a big worry. Nick says, let's be up because, Steve, you're the boss man. Thank you, Nick. Also, what do you think Trump's reaction will be militarily if this was an ICBM? Because let's be honest, if the missile they just launched could hit Alaska as an ICBM, that would pose a serious threat to our homeland security. Well, yeah, and I don't know, I would think that the administration has some sort of long-term plan in place for what happens if they get an ICBM, what happens if they miniaturize a warhead. Now, so I'm guessing they knew, I'm pretty darn certain that the administration knew this was a possibility. Now, let's assume it is an ICBM. Let's assume that gets confirmed. Will that activate anything that President Trump was thinking of doing? Or was there no kind of military action plan? and maybe there won't be military action at all. We don't know. We don't know. There's a lot of risk to military action when you talk about North Korea. They have a lot of armed forces, a lot of artillery. There could be might launch some sort of attack on South Korea. We have tens of thousands of troops in South Korea. I think it's like 50,000 or something. How many U.S. troops in South Korea? 28,500. So, it's risky to take any military action against North Korea. So don't know. I don't know what will happen. I don't know how this will affect it. No idea. We will have to see. We'll just have to see first if this was an ICBM. By the way, I mentioned before, so I have this feed up from the North Korean state TV. They put the feed on YouTube. And so I mentioned before I saw somebody donate. Now I've seen the same person donate 3 times. Call me crazy. I'm starting to think that this is somebody allied with the North Korean state, that they have somebody go on and donate to themselves, perhaps to encourage other people to donate. I would not put it past North Korea to have somebody on there who's just like looks like a fan, but they're actually just somebody from the North Korean military or something, or government, just donating, because it's the same person who donates once every 10 minutes, and they praise North Korea when they make the donation, and they do it in English too. So, I don't know. I'm just guessing. Aviation Country says, do you think they might declare the war against the U.S.? No, I don't think they will declare war against the U.S. But they have this threat now, so we'll have to see what happens. I don't think they're going to take any offensive action against the U.S., but they will certainly maybe do verbal threats. Parody Kim Jong-Un account says, let's see, nice snow you got over there. It would be a shame if something happened. And he's talking about Alaska. That's Parody Kim Jong-Un account. If you would like to write in to me and give your comment as we wait for this major announcement, write to me on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. Feel free to follow me as well. I cover a lot of breaking news stuff. I've been tweeting about this all night. So also Right Side Broadcasting is at RSB Network. You can follow us as well. And also subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell to get notified about whenever we have these videos go on the air. And like and follow us on Facebook at Right Side Broadcasting. And once again, we are viewer supported. All what pays our expenses is your donation. So to be able to keep that same person just donated their same £2 British donation. That's the 4th one I've seen to the North Korea. Only one person has donated, the same person 4 times to the North Korea State TV YouTube site. But we rely on your money to stay on the air, on your donations. And I think a lot of people think, well, you're on YouTube and you go to the presidential rallies, you must have a lot of money. It's like, no, it's a struggle to survive day to day doing this. It's not made easy. As I said before, our first video a couple hours ago about the North Korea thing that had several thousand viewers, we will get no ad money because YouTube says it's not advertiser friendly content. So it's a real struggle, and your donations keep us on the air. So we really hope you consider donating to us, because we want to keep bringing you an alternative to the mainstream media. We were the only ones on the air about an hour ago talking about this whole isn't an ICBM thing. There was no CNN, MSNBC, Fox. None of them were doing live coverage of this, and we were in real time, and we're doing it now. So we want to keep doing this for you. Please consider donating. We really want to keep being able to do this for you. If you want to donate, go to rsbn.tv/donate. rsbn.tv/donate, or you can click on the $ in the YouTube chat room right next to the broadcast. At the bottom of the broadcast, at the bottom of the chat room, there's a $. You can click on that and donate that way. Any amount is welcome. It just all helps us, and it all allows us to stay on the air. So we hope we can stay on the air for a long time and keep doing this for you. It'll just depend on if we get enough donations too. So we're trying our best. Okay, I want to get back. We have about 10 minutes left. 10-minute warning until the major announcement. Will they say they have tested an ICBM successfully? Will they say this? I'm going to real quick also check my news feed. By the way, Gibson Rocker 17 just gave $5 and said happy to help. Thank you so much, Gibson Rocker 17. Very nice of you. I've been going back and forth between sometimes reading the amounts and not reading the amounts. No one seems to have a preference, so I guess maybe this time I'll read the amounts. Doesn't matter either way. Any amount is very welcome. But thank you so much, Gibson Rocker, for helping us out. That's really cool of you. Up, I see a person on TV. Are they talking right now? Hold on. Let me just see if there's sound.
5시부터 특별 중대 보도가 있겠습니다.
Okay, they are making an announcement, but we can't understand them. So let me go on. I'm going to go on my Twitter and try to get live translation of this. I'm doing my best here. So if you have access to translation, let me know. Oh no, she went away. Where'd she go? Robert Abshir just gave $2, by the way. Thank you, Robert. That's very nice of you. Thanks so much. So it looks like the announcement has not started yet because she was on there and then she went away. So just so you know, when she comes back on, if it's that person, whoever comes and makes the announcement, I'm not going to play the sound because the sound's in Korean. I'm going to get a translation as soon as I can get it to you and let you know what the person says. So thank you again to Robert Abshir for making that donation. We really appreciate it. Okay, so they're back on this footage. Okay, I thought they were making the announcement a little early. They said at 2:30 Eastern time, so 9 minutes from now is when the announcement will happen. Let's see. Andrew Sova says, tweet the North Korean announcement. I'm going to sleep, Steve. Well, I'll try. If I get a full tweet of it, I'll tweet it out, Andrew. Let's see. So Steve Herman, who I follow on Twitter, thanks Joe Barnes for letting me know. He says, I think it's a North Korea newspaper said, KPA will respond to U.S. nuclear war threat with Korean-style powerful preemptive nuclear strike. Now, the thing is, North Korea does kind of warlike language stuff all the time. They make all these claims about what they're going to do and stuff. So I wouldn't put too much stock in anything like the official North Korea media says about any of this stuff, like the threats or what they're going to do. That's not usually a good guide to what they're actually going to be doing. So we have only about 8 minutes until this announcement. 8 minutes. 8 minutes until the announcements. And I said, what will they say? What will North Korea say? If you'd like to write in before then and let me know what you're thinking they'll say, write to me on Twitter at Lookner or email me steve.lookner@rsbn.tv. I'd love to hear from you and read your comment on the air. Who knows we don't know what they're going to say. No one knows. Feel free to, if you're watching on Facebook, share our video. Let people know. Maybe people don't know we're covering this. So feel free to share our video and like us on YouTube. That helps our video get spread around. And tell your friends, hey, you can watch this. They're covering this live. You can watch it. So we love when you spread the word. Kim Carter Bramelli says, do you think American public would support military action if this is an ICBM? Fantastic question. I think it certainly may be, Carter. It certainly may be. I don't know, but it certainly may be. Parody Kim Jong-Un account says, I could give the translation to you guys, but I won't because American pigus not worthy. That's Parody. Parody Kim Jong-Un account only emails me when we're covering North Korea news. Ryan says, use TweetDeck to monitor information, can even post to your own feed. Super useful. I'm not familiar with that, Ryan. I'm not going to try to figure it out now because the announcement's in 6 minutes. But if you find anything, Ryan or anybody else, if you start finding a good translation of the announcement when it starts being made, feel free to give me a shout at Lookner and let me know. Oh, Aaron Evanson didn't like our coverage. Aaron Evanson says, dude, you're way out of your depth. I appreciate the effort, but I'm out. Well, can't please everyone. I do my best. Sorry, Aaron, that didn't work for you. You can go watch the mainstream media. I hope you enjoy their coverage better. Henry Hart says, hey, man, do you think it's still safe to live in California because of this? Look, I don't think America is under imminent threat of getting hit. Supposedly this missile can only hit Alaska and not the continental U.S., but I don't tell people what to do with their life. So if you don't think it's safe, then don't live there. But they do. So here's the thing. They don't, even if this missile can hit Alaska, it cannot reportedly hit the continental United States. They don't have that technology yet. And they have not reportedly been able to miniaturize a nuclear warhead yet to put it on such a missile. So that's stuff to keep in mind. Lee Johnson says, if the quality of their broadcast signal represents their ability to build weapons, they are screwed. That's from Lee Johnson. Let's see. Nick says, thanks for answering my question on air, Steve. You're definitely the boss man. Keep body slamming CNN for you, boy. Well, we're just trying to do our best here. Thank you, Nick. We're glad you're enjoying the coverage. Okay, I'm just looking for more of your messages as we wait. 5 minutes. Only 5 minutes till their big announcement. Let me say this again. If they announce that they've tested an ICBM that could hit some part of the United States, maybe Alaska, as some of the experts were saying, that is gigantic. They have never tested this before. The two big things people were like fearing and America was waiting for is, will they develop an ICBM and when will they test it? And when will they be able to develop nuclear warhead technology and miniaturize it enough to put it on a missile warhead? If they've done the ICBM thing, that would be one of the two things they need to get a missile that can, a nuclear missile that can hit the continental United States. But if but a number of experts have said from their calculations, this is an ICBM that can hit all of Alaska. So we're going to wait and hear what they say. But if they do say this, and also the South Korean president a few minutes ago said they might have tested an ICBM. If they announce this, and if it's confirmed, that is a giant, giant, giant deal. I'm guessing we will have President Trump say something about this either tonight or tomorrow. Really big deal. To me, it gets to the point of like a crisis kind of thing. Dowski says Kim Jong-Un is fat. Let's see here. Okay, I will look up tweet. A couple of you were saying I should look up TweetDeck for the future, so I will look it up. Robert Lee Abshir says, keep up the good work. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate it. Steve Stove says, I think they're going to tell us that they must secure the existence of their people in a future for the North Korean children. So that is Steve Stove's prediction as to what they'll say. Let's see. Teresa Poole says, if this is an ICBM, how many do they have? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if this is like the only one they have. I would assume they can make more. So, but I don't know. I am not privy to that information. It's a good question. I'm looking to see. No, I'm seeing no information yet. I'm seeing no early leaks on Twitter as to what they might say. So no leaks about this. I'm checking my sources. You are watching. That is the North Korea state feed right there. We're not playing the sound because they're playing music. And when the announcement comes on, we're not going to play the sound because it's in Korean. What we're going to do in 2 minutes when they come on is I'm going to do my best to get you translation as soon as possible. If you see a translation online, you want to send it to me and help me out, @Lookner on Twitter is the place to send it to, @Lookner on Twitter. I am quite interested in what they're going to say. Polyshop says in 2006 and 2009, they launched missiles on 4th of July. It's all a game of cat and mouse. That's from Polyshop. However, Polyshop, tonight might have been different because this July 4th, they might have launched an intercontinental ballistic missile. We will have to see. Anna Fiffield, who is the Tokyo bureau chief for the Washington Post, she thinks also that they're going to announce they have an ICBM. We'll see what happens. Namwell just sent me a message that says, I have important information. I don't know what that information is. Feel free to write again, Namwell. Okay, we have less than a minute. Less than a minute till this announcement. Less than a minute till this announcement. What will they say? What will they say? Again, to repeat, if you're just joining the stream, we're not going to play the sound of the announcement because it's in Korean and then you won't be able to hear me. What we're going to do is when the announcement starts is try to, as soon as we can, get it translated. I'm hoping I can find somebody translating it in real time. Please feel free to reach out to me if you find a good translation somewhere. So I'm just waiting. I'm waiting. My clock says 2:29. 2:30, Art, it's 2:30. They seem to be pretty on time there. Let's see. Let's see if they come on the air and make this announcement. I'm waiting here. I will check, when they come on and make the announcement, I'll check and see if they're translating it. For all I know, they put a translation on this, but I don't think they do. Because when we played the woman who came on briefly before, she was just talking in Korean. We heard no translation. Jesse Libertad says, I'm very upset that China has not stepped in prior to this. Mark Maynard says, watching you from South Texas. Love you and RSBN, keeping us up to date. You guys rock. Thank you, Mark Maynard, very much. Oh, okay. What is this something? All right. I'm gonna listen to the sound for a second. Hold on.
화성 14형 시험 발사를 단행할 때 대한 명령하달. 우리 당과 국가 군대의 최고領導者.
Okay, so that's what it sounds like. Let me see if I play that, you're not going to be able to hear me. So I'm making the editorial choice to try to get translation here. I'm going online. Can someone, if you can find, I'm looking at my sources to see if somebody's posting a live stream translation of this. Again, this woman is basically screaming or shouting in North Korea, but maybe that's the way they talk there, so I don't want to try to be negative towards how they talk. I'll give you a little sample of the audio again. Hold on a second.
조선민주주의인민공화국 국방과학원 보도. 대륙간 탄도로켓 화성 14형 시험 발사 성공. 조선노동당 위원장이시며 조선민주주의인민공화국 국무위원회 위원장이시며 조선인민군 최고 사령관이신 우리 당과 국가 군대의 최고.
Okay, so just so you know, I have not found a translation yet. I'm sure it will be translated very soon somewhere. Let me know if you find a translation. I'll put the natural sound on again.
발사를 성공적으로 진행하였다. 대륙간 탄도로켓 화성 14형은 주체 106 2017년 7월 4일 오전 9시 우리나라 서북부 지대에서 발사되어 예정된 비행 궤도를 따라 39분간 비행하여 조선동해 공해상에 설정된 목표 수역을 정확히 타격하였다. 시험 발사는 최대 고각 발사 체제로 진행되었으며 주변.
Just an update here. I have still seen no translation on Twitter. It's this amazing thing where like I follow all these news sites and news people, and I think everybody's just watching this and hearing the sound, and no one knows what she's saying. So, because no one who doesn't speak Korean. So I'll keep looking. I'm sure very soon I'll have an update for you. But while we're waiting, AFP. American Agent France Press has announced, North Korea has said in this announcement, they have successfully tested an Icbm. Wow, amazing. So we're getting this in from the French press agency, isn't like Agency Press France or however you pronounce it. They have announced, North Korea, that they have successfully tested an Icbm. Unbelievable. That is huge, 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 huge news. That's incredible. Wow, that really changes things. Assuming they're not lying, I assume they do not usually. If a test fails, they just don't say anything. So between their saying this and all these experts we've heard saying this, they are announcing that they have successfully tested an Icbm. Let me go back up now. That's not. Their feed froze up. That's not me. That's their feed. Hold on. I'll get you a little more of their sound. Hold on a second.
위협 공간을 근원적으로 종식시키고 조선반도와 지역의 평화와 안정을 믿음직하게 수호해 나갈 것이다. 주체 106 2017년 7월 4일 평양.
Okay, wow. We have some breaking news here. Breaking news. I'll leave that on in a second. According to the French press agency, North Korea has just announced that they have successfully tested an Icbm, an intercontinental ballistic missile. From what experts have said, it's capable of hitting Alaska, and that's the first one they've ever tested. That is huge, huge, huge news. And I'm going to leave this up here right now. I kind of want to change what my lower third text says. Here, let me see if I can do this on the fly. See, I told you we're small here. I do this stuff by myself. Hold on. Ready? North Korea says it has tested an Icbm. There you go. That is huge, 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 huge news. They're still showing their patriotic footage. So I'm going to get reaction now. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of reaction. We're going to stay on the air. We're going to get reaction from various people on Twitter, online. I would also love to hear your reaction to this news. What do you think about this? Will this change President Trump's position, America's position on this, on what we do in the future with relation to North Korea? What do you think about this? Give me a shout on Twitter, @Lookner. @Lookner, or email me steve.lookner@rsbn.tv. Also, if you're enjoying our coverage, I encourage you, please consider donating, because we are entirely viewer supported. The only reason we can do this coverage right now is because you guys make donations. If you want to make a donation, go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate, or on YouTube, there's a chat right next to the broadcast. You can go click on the $ at the bottom of the chat room, and that lets you donate. And thank you to Britt Stillwell, gave $10. Very nice of you, Britt. Thanks so much. So I want to get to some of your messages now. Let's see. A bunch of people sent me links. All right, let me get off this for a second. So this is patriotic footage, but I want to see what people are saying, okay, on Twitter here. I'm going to show you my Twitter feed so you can see some of the things that are being announced. This is really big news. So here we have BBC breaking news. North Korea announced a successful test of long-range intercontinental missile. Gene Lee says, live now on North Korea State TV, Pyongyang claims successful test of launch of ICBM missile using Hwasong-14 rocket. Sky News also reporting, North Korea has claimed the country successfully tested its first continental ballistic missile. Wow. So all of this is happening. And just so you know, this missile, they said North Korea, and they're usually accurate when they report about their own tests. It reached an altitude of 2,800 kilometers, and just so you know how high that missile went, 2,800 kilometer is 1,739 miles high. 1,739 miles high. That's how far it went, and it hit the target after 39 minutes of flight. So let me just get this on the air. I want to read some of your comments now. But I want to put this up there here. There we go. Okay, let me get to your comments. A number of you have written in. Walter Banks says, is this Red Dawn for real? Who knows where it could lead? Isn't Red Dawn was about the U.S. It was about the U.S. and USSR, and it was so long ago I can't even remember. So I think it's a bit different, but if you want to be more specific with your question, Walter, feel free to write back. Ethan Brewster says, I think Trump's going to do something. They've been doing this too long now. By the way, love the channel. Thank you, Ethan Brewster. We cover lots of breaking news here. If you want to keep getting notifications about our channel, subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell. More, and I'd love to hear your comments. We like to hear what you're thinking here at Right Side Broadcasting. We don't tell you what to think. So write in, let me know what you're thinking about all of this. I'm happy to read your comment on the air. Mike Shervin writes in, you said, I think North Korea will say the next missile we fire will be armed. Now, I didn't get a whole translation of what they did say, so I can't say what they said, but maybe we'll have a more full translation coming at us shortly. The Good Virus writes in, is it too soon to say we are on the brink with North Korea? Well, look, I think where this gets even more serious is if they develop a nuclear warhead that's small enough to put on one of these missiles. So if they're telling the truth and the experts are right, they now have a missile that can reach Alaska. And they have nuclear weapons, but the nuclear weapons are too big to put on a missile. To get a nuclear missile, you have to be able to shrink down a nuclear weapon small enough to fit on top of a missile. They reportedly don't have that technology yet, but they're working on it. Where it gets the most serious is when they have both the missile, which they apparently now have, and the warhead to put on top of it. Now, also remember, this missile can hit Alaska. It can't hit the continental United States. Although, you'd think like, well, Alaska is serious enough. It's not like, well, we don't care if Alaska gets hit. But the more they develop this technology and the longer the range of these missiles, it gets even more serious. But I mean, to say we're on the brink, I don't know about that because I feel like there's a little more. This could be ramped up with them developing, if they develop miniaturized nuclear warhead that can fit on a nuclear missile. But we're close. We're close to, like, it seems like the point at which they have a nuclear missile that can hit the United States. So, and that seems like the ultimate point that President Trump has said he will not let. Well, I want to say he said will not let this happen. It's not going to happen. So I wonder what President Trump is going to say. Will he tweet something out in the next few minutes? I don't know if he's up right now. Maybe he's asleep. I have no idea about all of this. So will they wake him up if he's asleep? Don't know how this works. Let us know what you're thinking. Let's see. I am... Noah Velez says, could this lead to World War III? I mean, that's a long way ahead. It's certainly, I don't think, even if we have a military strike on North Korea, the way it leads to World War III is other countries getting involved. So I'm, at least at this point, that's not in the near future. Davis Deaton writes in, summary of what the lady said in English is the broadcast will be starting momentarily after some video footage of our great nation's infantry and advancements in recent technology. Is that true? I can't tell if that's true or not, or you're joking. I don't know. Davis Deaton. Walter Banks says, do you think North Korea will declare war on South Korea? I know they want to be reunified. I don't see North Korea doing anything like, I mean, that would be suicidal. I don't see them taking any action like that, for no reason. But the worry is that, he maybe he's unstable, Kim Jong-Un, and if he has such a weapon, who's to say he won't use it at some point? Reading more of your comments here. Would love to hear what you're thinking. Write to me at Lookner on Twitter, at Lookner. Let me know what you're thinking. I'll read it on the air, as long as it's clean. God Emperor says, Lookner, you're doing a great job. Your facial stubble is indicative of strong dedication to breaking news broadcasts. Yeah, I usually would shave at the beginning of the day, so I didn't shave before this broadcast. I apologize. Clyde Dylan Wamek says, do you think we should try to take out North Korean leaders as fast as possible? So, it's hard to say. You say, should we? I have been of the opinion that it would be a really bad thing. It's always a bad thing if new countries, especially new countries who don't like the United States, get a nuclear missile that can hit the United States. So over the last few years, I have been worried about this, and I thought that, I supported the U.S. policy, which is don't let North Korea get nuclear missiles that can hit the United States. I would have supported way back when, don't let North Korea get nuclear weapons. I support don't let Iran get nuclear weapons. So I just think more countries having nuclear weapons who don't like the United States is a bad thing. So what's the best way now to respond to this threat of them getting nuclear weapons? I don't know enough about the military aspect of it to know. If we take out their leadership, if we take out Kim Jong-Un, does that somehow make things worse? That doesn't get rid of the missiles. So I am guessing these various scenarios are considered in the administration, and there's positives and there's negatives for all of them. So it's very hard to say. And what makes this incredibly hard is North Korea is kind of a unique country because even experts don't have a great grasp on what's going on there. Experts debate, for example, how much the people of North Korea support the leader. Some experts say, no, they're just brainwashed. They will fight for the death to him. They are totally committed. Other experts say, no, they go along with it because they'll get in trouble if they don't, but secretly a lot of them hate him. And there's huge disagreements among experts. Experts disagree on how much their armed forces would fight. Would they fight to the death like Okinawa, or would some of them abandon ship and not fight that much for this leader? So it's very hard to plan what to do about North Korea because there's a lot of uncertainty even among experts as to how they will respond, what's really going on in that country, and there's just so much uncertainty about it. So few people even get in there to visit and see what's going on, and even the ones who do, they're tracked, and people don't. You can't just go in there and walk around with a camera and just interview people. So a lot of uncertainty. It's really hard to say what'll happen, and it's hard to say what we'll do. And it's hard to say what we should do because there's so much uncertainty there. But it is definitely a worry if they get nuclear weapons that can hit the United States. And also, if they get these missile technology, do they start giving it to other countries or terrorists? I don't know. We're covering this. This is Right Side Broadcasting. As you can see on your screen, North Korea, huge news, has announced, and this is something that they didn't just announce it. A bunch of experts were saying the evidence from their missile tests tonight suggests that they have successfully tested an intercontinental ballistic missile that can hit, as far as the experts say, Alaska, all of Alaska. So we're covering this at Right Side Broadcasting. We're covering it live for you. We're taking your comments and your questions. If you enjoy our coverage, please consider donating, because we're viewer supported. Only because you donate to us can we stay on the air and do this kind of thing. If you want to donate, go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. Any amount is welcome. Or you can go to the YouTube chat right next to this broadcast and click on the $ at the bottom of the chat room. Thank you, moderators, for moderating tonight, and hello to everybody watching on both Facebook and YouTube. I want to take some more of your comments about this. Write to me on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. And if you like breaking news, feel free to follow me, because I cover a lot of breaking news on my Twitter. You can see I tweeted a bunch about the North Korea stuff tonight. Feel free to follow Right Side Broadcasting as well at RSB Network. Let's see here. Scotty P writes in, the tweet about the missile's altitude was wrong, possibly range. The International Space Station orbits at about 250 miles above Earth, so 1,200 miles would be way too far into space. I know what you're thinking, Scotty. And I thought that too originally when I first started seeing those numbers. That's accurate. These things go above the International Space Station. I'm not kidding you. I know it sounds crazy. And the thing is, what happens is North Korea wants to test long-range missiles, but they can't just fire them horizontally, because they might hit something or go into some other country's waters that they don't want it to go to. So if this missile has a range of 4,000 somewhat miles, they're not going to fire it 4,000 miles across the ocean, because it might end up in some country that and hurt somebody, or or land somewhere it's not supposed to land. So what they do is these long-range missiles, they fire them basically straight up in the air with a very small angle. So if it has 4,000 mile range, instead of going 4,000 miles across, it can go thousands of miles up and then come down close to North Korea. That's what they do. So I know it sounds crazy, but it's not false. They fire these test missiles. Tonight was 1,700 miles in the air or something like that. It sounds crazy, but that's how much they fire them. So I was right with you on that. I used to think it was crazy and it had to be wrong. It's not wrong. Roxanne Harrington writes, I'm not so sure, but the remake of Red Dawn was initially supposed to be North Korea, but I believe they changed it when the movie was released in theaters. But I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've seen either Red Dawns. I don't think I've seen either of the Red Dawns. I know that might be bad, but I haven't seen either of them. I know what they are, but I haven't seen them. Other comments. OG says every country has a right to defend themselves. However, who is North Korea's fear and why? Fear of freedom, fear of loss of control? I don't know. Experts don't know what their fear is. Experts debate. Are they anti-American? Are they pro-North Korea racially and don't like other races? Are they, or is the country, is it not about being anti-American? Is anti-Americanism just something the leadership does because they want to stay in power? It's widely debated, and no one has a clear answer on that. Deplorable JB Gray says, I hope China, Japan, and Russia realize this is no joke and finally do something. Let's see. Joseph Bishop says, if this is true, how long do you think it will take for them to develop more advanced technology? I don't know, but they're clearly working on it, and they've had a lot of missile tests this year, and they seem to be having successes. They're not blowing up on the platform, and so it seems like they're definitely working at a quick pace on this and trying to get better and better at all this stuff. Eric Sacino says, did we just move the doomsday clock 1 minute closer to midnight? I don't know where it's supposed to be and how much a minute is. Maybe it moved a second closer. I don't know. This is not good for international security. Let's see here. Okay, I want to check real quick. I want to check my Twitter feed just to see if there's some more news and if there's more reaction. Maybe the American government's going to react. Let's see. Okay, so a couple things here interesting that I'm seeing. So this tweet here from HK News, they said that KCTV is North Korea TV. We just watched them give this statement. And part of what they said is that the test fire was conducted at highest angle and had no negative impact on the safety of neighboring countries. So like we said before, they shoot their missiles rather than this way. When they test them, they shoot them this way because they want them to go straight up basically and come down so they don't land on another country or near another country. And that's why they said this. So they want to... Now, I don't know if they're correct that it didn't threaten other countries, but that's what they're saying. Let's look at some other tweets here. So Jeffrey Lewis, who I follow, who's an arms expert, he says it should be this missile unless we're wrong about the numbering system. And he says that's a missile. He has a photo of it up. Hold on, I'll get rid of the lower third there. Hold on one second. So that's Jeffrey Lewis says he thinks that's the missile, one of those. Pretty big missile. Jeffrey Lewis also says this. Check this out. If the Hwasong 14 is this missile, the range may exceed what was just demonstrated. It might even be able to go farther than it went in this test. I'm just peeking to see. I wanted to see if there was any kind of update, but from the U.S. government, I'm seeing nothing. So, and they say it flew 933 kilometers, which is, I want to say, I'll just tell you. 933 kilometers is 580 miles. 580 miles. That's how long that one flew. Oh, is that right? Is that how long? Yeah, but that's not its range. Its range is 580 miles is how far it flew lengthwise. But remember, it went all the way up and all the way down. It has a range of thousands of miles. That's why it's an ICBM. I think ICBM is above 5,500. All right, let me just put a tweet back up on the air. And I want to get some more of your comments. So if you have comments about this, if you have more thoughts, what do you think the U.S. will do? I'm very interested. If President Trump was considering military action, will this push him more toward that? Don't know. And President Trump, he tweeted earlier. So this is important. President Trump, let me show you. President Trump tweeted earlier tonight after the test. But when the test happened, the U.S. Pacific Command said it was an intermediate range missile. Now, if it's true that it was an ICBM, the Pacific Command was wrong, which seems pretty bad. But I believe at that time, President Trump did not know this was an intercontinental missile. So he tweeted out, which you can see right there. North Korea has just launched another missile. Does this guy have anything better to do with his life? Hard to believe that South Korea and Japan will put up with this much longer. Perhaps China will put a heavy move on North Korea and end this nonsense once and for all. But this tweet was made when the U.S. Pacific Command was still saying this was an intermediate range missile. The news had not come out yet that it was an ICBM. So will President Trump tweet something else in addition to this, because this was based on apparently different information? Don't know. We'll see. By the way, I'm interested. So I think all the major news networks should be covering this. I like to check once in a while and see if they're still covering this. They must be. I'd be shocked if they weren't. I'm doing a little quick check. I was shocked earlier tonight when they weren't covering it, and I was like, I can't believe. No, they'll definitely be covering it because, well, actually, MSNBC has 20 years of Trump. That's what they're showing right now. They're not talking about North Korea. They're talking about Trump. Just like to let you know about this. But they're all. I'll keep it on. When the channels come back on, I'll let you know what they're doing. But we're going to stay on the air and covering this because this is such important news, and we'd love to hear from you. So give us a shout. Let us know what you're thinking about this. Do you think there will be military action now against North Korea? What do you think? Message me on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. That's the best place to reach me. Let's see. I did get a message here from Mike Chervin, who said, if experts don't have precise information about North Korea, how can we know their missiles can only reach Alaska? Well, presumably, it sounds like you're saying, what if they have some missile that's could do better than the ones they've been testing? I don't know enough about this, but from what experts know, I guess they don't they test what they have. You can imagine maybe they want to test what they have to show off what they have, but the consensus I've seen is that they don't. It's not like they're saving something else, but there is a question of how exactly far this missile they tested could go, and if might it be easy for them to ramp up if this, now that this missile has worked, can they ramp it up and make it go even farther? I'm not familiar enough with the technology about all this, but it's a good question. See, Douglas Krantz writes in, remind people we are still at a state of war with North Korea. This test is a game changer for sure. We can do military attack. They would invade. That's from, and CNN is covering it, by the way. So good for them for actually covering it now. They would. He said we could do, if we do military attack, they would invade South Korea. It's possible. It's possible. Are we still, did the Korean War, like, that question of are we still technically at war with North Korea? Was there ever, like, hold on, that's a good, I feel like you might be right about that. So I guess there was no peace treaty from between North and South Korea. There was an armistice signed, but there was no peace treaty. So technically, they're still at war. But some peoples would claim, well, there's not really a war. Like, I mean, if you look at it, there's not really a war, and that's like a technical point. But really, there's not a war going on. So there's debate about that on both sides. Andrew Sova says, Mad Dog Mattis does not sleep. Check on what he's doing. Also, nice shirt and tie. Thank you, Andrew. Let's get some more messages from you guys. Scotty P says, do you think Trump will force pressure on countries like China in order to keep the peace? If so, in what way would he do so? Well, that's supposedly what he has been doing. He's been trying to get China to help out with the North Korea situation. It hasn't seemed to work that well so far. It hasn't worked that well so far because they just tested an ICBM for the first time. You know, does President Trump start threatening like sanctions or something like that? I don't know. What can he? Would you sanction North Korea, China? Would you have trade sanctions on them for not putting pressure on North Korea, and then you risk hurting the American economy? So it's you know, it's tough. Like, what leverage do we have? I guess some kind of trade leverage on China, but then you run the risk of hurting the economy, because if we put sanctions on China or somehow put tariffs on them or something, that they do the same to us, and then we're hurting our producers. So it's a hard situation. Let's see. I'm checking more messages here from you. Deplorable Sandy says, Steve, we don't know this was an ICBM. We only know that North Korea is saying it was. So I agree with you, North Korea, Sandy, that we shouldn't just trust North Korea. But what I'm going on also is that a large number of experts who I saw online did the calculations, and in the hour and a half before the announcement, they were all saying, this is an ICBM. We've done the math. It's an ICBM. So maybe all those experts are wrong, but I wouldn't just trust us if it was just North Korea saying this. But it's not them. It's them plus a large number of experts who like do this for a living. So that's who I think there's a very, very high probability that what North Korea said is accurate. Tsar Silviliga says, if North Korea isn't lying, then were we lied to, or can our military intel not tell the difference between an ICBM and an IRBM? Look, this is a great question. Let me see if I can show you here. What Tsar is asking about is, I'll show you on my Twitter feed. I posted it before. This was the statement from U.S. Pacific Command, okay? And if you look at this, came out a few hours ago, and they said U.S. Pacific Command detected and tracked what we assess was a North Korean missile launch, the launch of a land-based intermediate range ballistic missile. Intermediate range. If it's true that it's an ICBM, that is false information. Now, you know, there's reasons they could have gotten it wrong. To me, I think that's concerning if this turns out to be false, that the Pacific Command put out false information. Do I think it's intentional? No. I don't know, though, but I mean, there might have been a wrong calculation, but that's worrisome to me. If it ends up being that the U.S. Pacific Command put an official statement and they misread what kind of missile that was, that's not good. So could have been a miscalculation though, but that's certainly something to keep an eye on. Let's look here on Twitter. So Jeffrey Lewis is saying, sorry, let me show you what Jeffrey Lewis said. Oops, that's from before. He just posted an interesting tweet. He is an arms expert, and he says, I'll drag it up here. John Schilling estimated the Hwasong-14 could travel 10,000 kilometers with a white warhead. We'll see if performance lives up to expectations. So 10,000 kilometers, if this is indeed the missile that was tested, that Hwasong-14, that would be 6213 miles. And North Korea to Hawaii distance is 75. No, it's only about miles is 4661, so it could hit Hawaii. How about North Korea to Washington State? Miles 5053. So look, if Jeffrey Lewis if John Schilling is right that this is if this was the Hwasong-14 missile that was tested tonight, okay? If it could reach 10,000 kilometers, that is enough to hit the continental United States. That's more than enough. That's over 6,000 miles. Washington State's only 5,000 miles away. So 10,000 kilometers would put a bunch of the continental United States in range, if indeed this is the missile and it can travel that far. So it's very possible that this missile technology could be developed to hit the United States soon, or the missile could be capable right now if they do something else to it. So that's certainly worrisome. CNN reporting. Now, is this part of the quote? I'm trying to see. So it looks like Steve Herman is posting some of the quotes from, let's go to his feed. He has a translation of some of the comments here. Ooh, press release. I wonder if this is the actual. All right, so hold on a second. Here's what Steve Herman says. He said, the announcement said Kim Jong-Un personally observed the Icbm Hwasong-14, which we've been hearing that name for the missile, test firing and declared its brilliant success in the world. This is the final gateway to the completion of the national nuclear armed forces. So this is supposedly a translation of the North Korea statement tonight. North Korea, an imposing nuclear power with the strongest ICBM that can hit any part of the world with its nuclear weapons. It is the end of the nuclear war threats of the U.S. This was part of their announcement tonight, and ushers in peace and stability on the Korean Peninsula and for the region. Okay, so wow. Some strong words from North Korea tonight. Just looking, I'm going to get some more of your comments soon. Okay, let's see what you have to say about this. Feel free to write in while we're on the air here, taking your comments about this gigantic news. At Lookner on Twitter, at Lookner, or you can email me, steve.lookner@rspn.tv. Please hold on one second here. Okay, let me check here. Thanks again to the moderators for working so hard moderating the chat tonight. Much appreciated. Feel free to, by the way, follow us on Facebook and like us on Facebook, and also subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell when you do, so you get notified whenever we go on the air with a breaking news video like this. Kim Jong-Un parody account says, so just to make myself clear, if boiled pumpkin nation even look at us ugly, it'll be completely and immediately wiped out and turned to ashes. And all of you American devils will be wake up in a sea of fire. Nothing personal though. You guys are okay. I'll nuke you guys fast. That's a from parody Kim Jong-Un account. Link says, do we have ways of intercepting a nuke heading toward us? Good question, Link. So we have tested missile intercept technology. It's very imperfect. It doesn't always work. So I don't know exactly what our capabilities are, but from what I've read, we have some sorts of this capability, but it's not perfect and it would not necessarily work. That's all I know. I am not an expert on this. Deplorable Sandy says, if you've ever been to the border of North and South Korea, you'd know there's pretty much a scary situation there. The Good Virus says, I think military action becomes a more realistic possibility with this ICBM test. Okay, I'm just looking for more of your messages here. Cookie Babe says, why are we worried about a North Korea's ICBM when they have 2 satellites that can cause an EMP going over the U.S. twice a day? So I thought, Cookie Babes, that to cause an EMP, you had to explode a nuclear weapon like above the ground before it hits the ground. That's my understanding. I have not read at all how satellites can cause an EMP. So this is an electromagnetic pulse attack or something. I forget what it stands for. That like knocks out all the electricity in the country, so in all electrical devices. So that's my understanding. But I am not an expert on this either. And look, I'm guessing to do an EMP attack might be incredibly technologically demanding. And I've never heard confirmation that they had satellites that they could actually do this. I know there were reports floating around. I have not heard confirmation though that they would have the capacity to do this. Maybe they do. I'm just saying I have not heard confirmation of this. Thank you, though, Cookie Babes, for writing in. Blake Edwards says, wouldn't be surprised if Madison and Trump were up talking strategy right now. Remember, at Real Donald Trump is act first, talk later. So, Blake, I agree with you. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he wasn't up right now. I am guessing that this is something they would wake him up for. That if he were asleep, they would wake him up for, hey, they just announced they have an ICBM, and if they can confirm it, then they would wake him up for that. And if he's up, I would think he wants to work. Now, maybe he stayed up during the evening. I don't know. So, good point, though, Blake. Tom says, bye-bye, West Coast. California won't be missed. Tom, that's not nice to your fellow Americans. Let's see here. Mike Chervin says, warheads don't have to be nukes. NK probably has chemical and biological weapons ready for launch. It's a good point, Mike. Is that something? I don't know about this whole thing about can you mount chemical and biological weapons on a warhead and ICBM? I don't know. Can those kind of weapons withstand that? It's a very powerful re-entry, a very forceful and difficult re-entry for the missile when it comes back in on an ICBM. I don't know if chemical and biological weapons can handle that. Maybe they can. I don't know. It's a good question. Good question, Mike. This is Right Side Broadcasting. We're covering live breaking news. North Korea says it has tested an ICBM, and many experts online agree with them. This ICBM reportedly can at least reach to Alaska. We've heard some experts say maybe it could reach even farther than that. So, very worrying situation. No official response from the U.S. government yet. And we're covering this. We're taking your comments. We're taking your questions. You can write to me at Lookner on Twitter. If you want to send in a comment, feel free to follow me there as well. And also, we would, if you do like our coverage, please consider donating. a lot of people think we're lying when we say this, but we're serious. If we don't get enough donations, like saying over the next couple weeks we stop getting donations, we would literally go off the air. Like, we pay our expenses through donations. So if you like our coverage, even if it's a small donation, we hope you consider donating, because we would love to keep coming on the air and bringing this news coverage to you. We feel like it's agenda free, unlike the mainstream media. We want to just bring you coverage that's agenda free. We don't tell you what to think. We just give you the news and let you decide what to think. So so if you would like to help us out and keep us on the air, we would really appreciate it. The way to donate is go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate, or you can donate in the YouTube chat room at the bottom of the chat. There's a $sign there. Click on that $sign. You can donate that way. So we'd really appreciate it, because we want to stay on the air and cover this for you. Let's see here. Richard sent me a map of the missile supposedly fired, but that's a map of. It's not a. So that's a map of how far I think it could have gone tonight, but it doesn't show you the range that it could go in theory. So I was wondering if there's a map which shows, like, hey, this is how far around the world it could reach. I want to check real quick. Benny B just gave $2 and said, watching this channel grow up got me in my feels. Thank you, Benny B. That's really kind of you. Thank you so much for watching us over the last few months and last year or two. And we are growing. We want to stay on the air, and we want to keep growing. And I think a lot more people are finding us. So we wanted to stay on the air long enough so that people can find us and we can grow. And eventually we won't have to ask for donations anymore. That's our hope. But for now, our goal is to stay on the air and keep finding new viewers who are unsatisfied with the mainstream media and want something different. Let me check and see if there are more. I really would like to get a response from the U.S. government about all this, even though it's 3:12 a.m. Ryan just posted a picture of our feed. Thanks, Ryan. Will we have any response soon from the U.S. government about this, even though it's 3 a.m. Washington, D.C. D.C. time, excuse me. Now, I'm seeing pictures coming out here. It looks like we have some pictures. Oh, we have images of the test launch. Are they airing it now? Oh, I think they might have. Let's see if I can go back and get it. Hold on, guys. I saw a tweet that said they were showing images of the launch. I don't see them. I'm going to show you pictures, though. I'll keep that over there. Hold on. Let me show you pictures. Let's redo this. These pictures just coming in of the launch here. Hold on one second. So this here looks like a picture of the launch. This is reportedly a picture of the missile before launch. Right there. See if I can get some more confirmation of that. There is reportedly a picture of the launch as well. I'm just trying to find somebody who actually says, like, yes, they're posting these pictures, because no one's confirming this. Let me leave that up there, though, that one. Reportedly, that's a photo of the missile. Oh, let's see. Steve Herman, supposedly. Let's look at Steve Herman. Okay. I see you, Steve Herman. Here we go. He says, that is reportedly, Steve Herman reports, this is a picture from North Korean television of the missile. Looks like it came out there on a truck. Now, I think when they can launch them like this, it makes them harder to attack because they don't have a fixed launch site. They can drive them to a different site. They can hide them someplace and then drive them out and launch them. There's another image. So pictures in. See if there's any more pictures here that we can get in. I'll leave that one up. I'll leave that one up on the air. So let me put me on the left. I'm going to take some more of your comments now. That is a sizable missile there. Joseph Bishop writes, well, to use an electric magnetic pulse, it takes some very sophisticated technology. I doubt they have satellites that can do this, but if they did, it would be capable of wiping out all our electronics. We would not be able to detect incoming attacks. We would not be able to detect missiles, and it would kill multiple people, millions. Just think about all the computers and technology we depend on without fail. And an electronic magnetic pulse, that's the end of the message, but thank you, Joseph, for writing in. Richard P. says, thanks for being live at this early hour. You're welcome, Richard. We will cover the news whenever it's on the air. We will cover it. Annabelle Onion says, U.S. government may be quiet because they're considering an attack on NK. Well, I would still think they'd come out with some sort of statement. I just wonder if they're not going to come out with it because it's so late at night, but I would think they'd come out with something soon because it's such an important piece of news. Yeah, well, Noah says, could that do some serious damage to Alaska? No, if they put a nuclear weapon on it, it will do a lot of damage. It could do a lot of damage. You sent me, Cookie Babes, I think, sent me an article about an EMP. I'll have to look at that later. Thank you, Cookie Babes. Carter Bramelli says, no way Trump was sleeping for this. If he knew they had a major announcement at 2:30, then he was up for it. At least all sense would point toward that. Trump it is. And normally he doesn't sleep that much reportedly anyway, so maybe he was up for the whole thing. Couple emails here. Let me get to those. P-Cell says, all this is his fascination with the U.S., like most of our so-called enemies. They love to hate us, but are fascinated about our lifestyle. It's not a coincidence he chose Independence Day to do this nonsense. This is not just the U.S. problem. From a geographical standpoint, China and Russia are in danger. Even the North Koreans, they could easily wipe themselves out. Thank you, P-Cell. And that's a good point. Sorry, I'm writing something down here. You make about Independence Day. This would be such huge news just on its own that they tested an Icbm. So Fox News is calling this a game changer. But that they did it on July 4th. They did it on July 4th. This is so directed at the U.S. It's amazing. Ethan Brewster says, I can't message you on Twitter. Ethan, you can always email me too. I'll get the email at the address on the screen. Also, if you type a message on Twitter at Lookner and then put me, I'll get your message. Lee Johnson says, Trump will not say anything to tip off North Korea as what is about to happen. P. Tudsbury says, you're right about moving the missiles around. The USA and Russia have used this method where you have a mobile launcher. Mike Wata, you know what? I cannot read your comment because it's not clean. Clyde Dillon Wamek says, the U.S. might not want to let the world know what technology we have. Play dumb and wait to defend so that we can attack. Yeah, I do think, when you have technology, say you have missile intercept technology, you don't want to use it and let the world know unless you have to use it. Richard says, can we really trust China? Remember, they have been a supporter of North Korea for decades. I don't know if you can necessarily trust them when they say we're trying really hard to get North Korea to stop doing this. It's hard to say. They don't want North Korea to collapse and have North Korea unify with South Korea and have an American ally on their border. They don't want that. This is Right Side Broadcasting. We are covering this breaking news. North Korea says it has tested an ICBM. The picture of the test is right there on your screen. That missile reportedly could hit Alaska. And very worrisome. No response yet from the American government. We're waiting for that. We're taking your comments, your questions. Thank you to the moderators for moderating the chat, working hours and hours tonight to moderate the chat room, both on the YouTube and on the website. We really appreciate it. What else did I want to say? Feel free to like this video on YouTube and share it on Facebook. That helps us so much when you do that. And also follow us on Twitter at RSB Network. And you can follow me at Twitter at Lookner. I cover lots of breaking news. If you like breaking news, follow me on Twitter. I'll post a lot about breaking news. And write to me. Let me know what you're thinking about this. Write to me on Twitter so I can read your comment on the air. So I'm quite interested in seeing if I would have to imagine that sometime soon we'll get in a response from the U.S. government. Now, maybe the U.S. government thinks, well, people are asleep now, so we have a little time to decide how we want to respond to this. So maybe we won't say anything until like 6 a.m. or something. I don't know. I am checking my Twitter feed here. Wow, more pics. Oh, I want to tweet this out. There you go. That is a picture of Kim Jong-Un observing the test from today. There's the missile. More photos. Nathan Hunt says he noticed that in the picture there's a cemented launching point for the transporter to park and unload. He says he saw that. Ah, there you go. So yeah, I see what he's saying. I'll show you that. Hold on. That's not. Let me get a better picture for you. So if you look there, what Nathan Hunt noticed is see that cement there? There's like that white area in it, and he said that's a cemented launching point they prepared in advance for the truck to drive onto and unload the missile there. More pictures. Look at this one. Wow. Sorry, I'll just keep it there. So there it is on the loader there. Looking at these other pictures. We saw that one already. This is something North Korea does. They will release pictures after a successful test and video. Let me check your messages here. Sensible Human says, do you think some might say this North Korean missile test is just a false flag so the military-industrial complex can make money on another war? I would have to think it's very highly unlikely. I mean, so many people would have to be in on it, and just to me, it's just, it just seems like, unfortunately, it looks like they have tested an ICBM from what the experts are saying. Dowski says, Kim Jong-Un is still fat. Aviation Country says, because if they hit an American ally, that also means war. Yeah, I think they're aware, Aviation Country, is it? That, if they use one of these things, we'd like to think they're aware if they use one of these things, it'd be suicidal. But the problem is, if you have somebody, a leader who's not very stable, you never know what they're going to do. Carter Bamelli, reportedly from what experts say, this missile has the range to hit Alaska, but not the continental U.S. But there's dispute from the numbers tonight, but there's dispute under what range this missile actually in potential has, and there is speculation that perhaps it could hit the continental United States with a small enough warhead. So we don't know. Ace CFA 44 says, Iran and North Korea are longtime allies. An attack on North Korea may cause Iran to take hostile action, such as blocking the Strait of Hormuz. Who knows? And it's a good point you make, Ace, that if you start taking military action, all kinds of consequences can happen. You just don't know what's going to happen. So it is a good point, and I think that's something which definitely factors in to decisions by the Trump administration as to whether to take military action, because it's so risky and all these kind of things could happen. And I'm sure they game out all these different scenarios, like, well, we attack them and then this country does this and this country does this, and it's probably very complex. So a lot of uncertainty there. Sorry, I'm just looking at something here. OG says, don't trust pics that are not validated. So the reason I am showing these pics, OG, is because the people posting them are people who are like weapons experts. Now, I can't 100% guarantee they're accurate, but I trust the people who are posting these pictures now. I wasn't just showing random pictures. And also Steve Herman I follow, and he is very good about this stuff too. MRE Peanut Butter says, are those LG televisions behind Little Kim? I can't tell what's behind him. I see a phone behind him. Sensible Human says, how come all staff go along with this Kim Jong-Un, who is so crazy? He looks to be so not wise and stable, but here all are in on it. Well, maybe they think they're smart. Maybe they like being part of the leadership, and you have to go along with him to do that. There's various reasons we could think of. I don't know. The missile has landed, Cookie Babes. It was in the air for about 37 minutes. Taking more of your messages here. Feel free to write in. Oh, Colby Necht writes in. Surely Trump is on the wake and on the phone with our allies, South Korea, Japan, and those involved, China, others. Business Insider released an article 1 week ago citing North Korea's ability to use a specific engine for ICBM technology. I truly believe China will be pressured into strong-arming North Korea. I hope so, Colby. I hope, that North Korea can be forced to give up this technology, but I don't know. They might just want to keep developing these. They might see their only road to survival is developing a nuclear missile that can hit the United States. And it seems like they might have gotten a lot closer tonight to doing that. Okay, I'm scanning, looking for a little more news here. B&O News is saying that those photos are the photos from North Korea. They're saying North Korea releases photos of its first ICBM. So let me show you that. There it is, that tweet. I'm going to retweet that. North Korea releases photos of its first ICBM, which experts say could reach Alaska. There you go. Feel free to follow me on Twitter, by the way. I tweet about a lot of breaking news, as you can see. I even tweet during the broadcast, at Lookner on Twitter. And Right Side Broadcasting is at RSB Network. Follow Right Side Broadcasting as well. Oh, I've been meaning to tweet this. I'm going to tweet this now. I just wanted to say this because I just think it's worth, you forget. With the news is so big, you forget. Oh, I should say the 4th of July. I mean, they did this on the 4th of July. It'd be such a huge story just anyway, but they did it on the 4th of July. Amazing. Sorry, I want to get back and show you. Let me leave. I'll leave those. I'll leave one of these pictures up for now. Ooh, that's a good shot. We had that up before, but that's a nice, fills the screen nicely. Let's get back to some of your messages here. Carter Bamelli says, do you think Trump maybe demanded a call with Xi, President Xi, could be making a huge international phone calls as we speak? A couple of you have suggested he might be making phone calls as we speak, especially because it's daytime in other parts of the world. Very possible. We'll see if the Trump administration reports on any of this stuff. Cookie Babe says, okay, so Kim has the biggest firecracker this year. Thank you, Cookie Babes. The Devil Skeleton says, bastards. OG says, the answer to the question somebody asked as to why like the generals follow Kim Jong-Un, he says, or she says, I think it's a he, I'm not sure actually, says, it's the same reason why Democrats follow the socialist agenda here, brainwashed. Now, that's OG's view. This is not RSBN's view, but we don't tell you what to think here. We'll read what you send in as long as it's clean, and not offensive. We're also taking your comments. Feel free to write in. Let me know. We haven't gotten a lot of predictions from you as to whether there will be military action or not. I'm interested in hearing what you think will happen. So write to me on Twitter, @Lookner, @LOOKNER. Now, Elaine Morgan says he considers July 4th their Independence Day. Is that true? Now, I'll say this, though. I don't care what holiday it is. Somebody had written in earlier saying July 3rd is a holiday in North Korea, although it was July 4th in the morning when they did the test there. But to me, this was intended to be on America's Independence Day. I have no doubt about that. Now, I might be wrong, but I just personally think like it's just too much of a coincidence. Okay. I'm just trying to get some any more updates here on news. Attack Helicopter says, I think it's time for some fireworks, Uncle Sam style. That's from Attack Helicopter. Cookie Babe says, check Dennis Rodman's Twitter. He'll know what Kim is doing. See, I'm trying to get a little more information here. Once again, no comment yet from the U.S. government. Maybe the U.S. government's still trying to confirm that it was an ICBM. Maybe they want to be absolutely sure. Christopher says the USA is unlikely to attack North Korea over this. Sanctions at most. UN votes potentially. So that's according to Christopher. Christopher, thanks for writing in and giving your opinion. Oh, Matt Tanner sent me a message. It's a map of selected range of estimated range of select North Korean missiles. The interesting thing is that the Hwasong 14, the one they tested tonight, isn't on there. So I'd be interested in seeing what a map with that one on it. But thank you, Matt. Oh, David Matthews sent me a message too with a map on it. Let me just see what this is. Oops, I don't want to do that. Let me close that. No, go away. Thank you for that map. So the problem is, so the maps, I've gotten a couple maps here, but they don't include the missile from tonight. So what I'd love to see is one of these maps that show the range around the world of the missile from tonight. That would be the best thing to have. Lee Johnson says, Korean War Part 2? OG says, size of North Korea compared to USA. And he has a tweet which shows like it's as big as Kansas. We're supposed to be afraid of them. Someone needs to tell Kim to go to bed. The thing is, OG, though, it's not that we're afraid of them like defeating us militarily. But if they just launch one missile that hits the United States, that's so bad. So I think the fear we have is that they'll just do something to hurt a lot of Americans. Also, could they now like sell this technology to another country? That's worrisome to me too. Or give it to terrorists or something, or sell it to terrorists. Carter, no need to apologize about writing so much. We love to get messages from people here and hear your thoughts on things. I'm still trying to get more news on this here. I'd love to know, you know, there has to be some kind of American government reaction coming soon, I would think. Or will they wait till the morning? I don't know, but it's like I just it's we have the announcement. We have experts saying it was an Icbm. We have nothing yet from the American government. I've seen nothing whatsoever. Now, because it's the middle of the night, a lot of people are probably asleep. But I'm really interested in saying, what will different senators say about this? What will cabinet members say about this? What will we hear? Will President Trump do a big speech? JC says, Steve, you are a beast. Why don't you come on 3 or 5 times a day instead of one time? That's 5 hours long. I come on, JC, when the news warrants it. So it warranted it tonight, so we're on covering it. Thank you, JC, and thank you. You are a moderator beast with all of your moderating. I appreciate it. We all appreciate it here. All you moderators in the chat rooms. Webster's in there too tonight. Who else is doing the moderating tonight? I know a number of you have been in there tonight. Jude was around. So thank you for all your moderating. Let me say again, Right Side Broadcasting is viewer supported. Please consider making a donation, even a small one. It helps us so much. I think help is the wrong word. It allows us to be on the air. If we don't get donations, we can't stay on the air. So your donations let us do this broadcast. So if you enjoy it, don't think it's too small a donation. Everything helps and it all adds up. We've often said, like, if everybody who watched one of our coverage of one of President Trump's rallies, if everyone who watched that just gave like $1, we could stay on for like a year and a half. So please consider donating. We're at rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate, or you can donate in the YouTube chat room. Click on the $ at the bottom of the chat room next to the broadcast, and you can donate that way. And feel free to like and follow us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell. Let's see here. Just looking at some more comments. Clyde Dillon Womack says Trump would commit political suicide if he attacks first. Even if he's in the right, mainstream media will twist it. Defense is best right now. Now, I will say this, Clyde Dillon Womack. When President Trump launched missiles against Syria, the mainstream media kind of seemed on board with that in general. So, you know, and I've heard some people on the right say that they didn't like that everybody was going. There's some people on the right who don't want to have military involvement, and they don't like the way a lot of people they felt got on board with the missile strike and are very hawkish in this country. So I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I think, you know, if there was some kind of limited strike and it didn't involve a lot of troops and a way to, you know, get North Korea's nuclear program stopped or seriously harmed by just that, that could be something Americans be on board with. If you start talking about something that's going to be more involved, where American soldiers have to get involved and die for this, or something that's going to involve lots of South Koreans dying, then I don't know. You know, it's hard to say what Americans' reaction would be to this issue would be. And I think it depends on what exactly we have to do and what the response and the consequences end up being. Ryan sends to me, he says, still no activity on defense, state, POTUS, or real Donald Trump Twitter accounts. And it's been a while since that announcement happened. Let's see here. All right, I'd like to stay on a little while longer. I need about 30 seconds to take a quick break here. So I'm going to take a break for about 30 seconds. I'm going to come right back. The picture's going to stay on the screen. So don't go anywhere. I'll be back in about 30 seconds, and I'll see you in a sec. I am back. I am not crying, by the way. I just had to put a couple eye drops in. So I am not crying over this missile test, although I do find it upsetting. But I just put a couple eye drops in. So we're going to stay on a little while longer here. It's important news. I'm kind of hoping that we get some. Feedback. We get some response from the American government. Maybe we'll see. While we're on the air. OG says, thanks again for breaking news live feed. I'm going to bed so I can celebrate my Independence Day. Hope you have a good one. Good night. Thanks, OG, for the message. Thanks all of you for staying up late with us tonight. Joey MP says, I believe Trump will only strike first if he receives a blessing from South Korea and Japan. Very possible that Trump might feel that he needs countries to approve. Maybe he thinks he needs China to approve before he does this. It's a great question of, do they think they need these countries' approval? Sensible Human says, my guess won't be real military action against North Korea, Kim Jong-Un, surgical ops, coup, or more sanctions against people living there. It's so fun. It's like there's I guess because it's now, it's 3:45 a.m. Eastern time. That probably explains if this exact event was going on 8 hours from now, 6 hours from now, it would be like all these people I follow on Twitter, all these news sources would be posting about this, and there'd be so much news about this. But it's like everybody's asleep. A lot of people are asleep. There's probably people who asleep who just didn't even know about the like they're gonna wake up and be like, wait, they tested an ICBM. So wow. Baghdad Ted says, Best Korea is not friends with Japan. Worst Korea and USA. Which country would dear leader destroy first and why? I don't know. Well, that sounds like a question from a perspective I am not equipped to answer. Although I don't think North Korea could destroy any country with what they have right now. And Steve Herman just posted, I'll show you. I told you that analysts were staying up and talking about this. So Steve Herman just posted this. Rocket scientists are staying up late in U.S. to analyze first images of DPRK claimed launch. So there's all these people online who do this. Like they look at the pictures and they're all technically trained. So they can look at the pictures and say, look, 4 Vernier, 3 visible with maybe 1 main engine, no grid fins. So they're like weapons experts, and they look at the pictures and they analyze what kind of weapons were used. I'll leave that up there for a second. Leave a picture of Kim Jong-Un up there. I'll put myself on the left. That's better. Pete Tudsbury says, I'd have to think this doesn't come as any surprise to Trump. They have contingency plans for everything, surely plans for this. Yeah, as I was saying before, I mean, I'm sure they anticipated this might happen, but who knows when it actually happens, does that change things? See, now we were on the ball tonight because Conflict News, which is a great Twitter site, and they do all kinds of breaking news stuff, but maybe they were asleep late at night because they just posted about the ICBM news. So, but we were here live for you, Right Side Broadcasting. Nicholas A. Estrada says, U.S. should finally take care of North Korea. Although I'm not a fan of Trump, he has the opportunity to finally put an end to the evil North Korean regime. It will be very interesting to see what happens. You know, that is something maybe he's thinking of doing. And he's talked like maybe he's thought of doing this. So we'll see what happens, Nicholas. L. Denise Cotto says, the head of U.S. Pacific Command is a Japanese American, great patriot. And I think she's going to say something else in a second, so I'll let you know. Let's see here. We have, it's Asian Mexican Nico writes, although I am not a fan of President Trump, I think it's the same, this might be the same person who wrote in on Twitter, but I'll read it anyway. I'm not a big fan of President Trump. He has a very big opportunity to finally take care of North Korea once and for all. North Korea has been taking advantage of the United States for years. Trump can finally respond with action. If he is as strong as his supporters say he is, he should look into destroying the evil North Korean regime. Today on 4th of July, he has the opportunity to send troops, send special forces to invade the North. Let us pray that President Trump does something that is logical and something where he puts our country first. The strongest country in the world. We are the United States of America. USA, USA. Thank you. It's Asian Mexican Nico. JC just gave $5, said vote Trump 2020. Vote Trump 2020. Thank you so much, JC. Thank you for all your hard work in the chat, moderating, and the donation. Donations like that are how we can be on the air. We can't stay on the air without donations. So if you've been enjoying the coverage, please consider donating. Don't think like $1 is too small. It all adds up. The small donations all add up, and it all helps us stay on the air. Without you, we can't stay on the air. So if you want to donate, rsbn.tv/donate. That's rsbn.tv/donate. Or do what JC did on YouTube. There's a chat room next to the broadcast. Just click on the $sign at the bottom of the chat room, and you can donate that way. Colby Necht writes in, General McMaster has already begun working on a preemptive military strike plan to present to the administration. I believe the plan does, General McMaster has already begun working on a preemptive military strike plan to present to the administration. I believe the plan does involve multiple strikes simultaneously, which would make sense considering we would have to wipe out a considerable amount of North Korea's arsenal to minimize loss of life. Listening to the assessment of loss of life estimates in Seoul, if North Korea was able to launch long-range artillery strikes, which they have many of, exceed hundreds of thousands within the first few minutes of the conflict. With that being said, I see the military option of preemptive strike coordinated with allies as the only solution now that North Korea has mobile ICBM capabilities. From Colby. Thank you so much, Colby, for writing in. David Matthews says the BBC says at the start of their article that the 14, the missile that was tested tonight, has a range of 10,000, I think kilometers, you mean 10,000 kilometers, enough to hit California. Yeah, 10,000 kilometers would be enough to hit California. Some of the experts online were speculating about whether it had that range or not. So we will see if we hear more reports about that. Okay, what did I want to do? I wanted to do something. Oh, I'm going to change the name of this event. I have to do that after. I'm going to change it right now, just in case people are looking for it. So info, North Korea makes major announcement. North Korea, I'm changing the name to announces it has tested ICBM. There we go. And let me get the broadcast back up here. Hold on, I just got to rearrange this for a second. Hey, if you like late night live streams, we are really late night tonight. It is 3:51 a.m. Eastern time. We just got a donation of $5 from Protein Polymath and says RSBN rocks. Thank you, Protein Polymath. That's very kind of you. We appreciate it. We appreciate it so much, actually. So that's nice of you. The missile was tested and flew about 900 kilometers towards Japan, about 600 miles, I think that is. So just so you know, that's where it flew, but it flew mostly up like this and then down. It didn't fly all the way straight across because they don't want it to fly too far and hit something they don't want it to hit. Oh, and John Doe just gave $10 and said, war is not the answer. It involves too many countries and lives. A peace treaty could be the answer. So, John, first of all, thank you for the donation very much. That's really kind of you. Second of all, yeah, look, there are definitely costs to any military action. You don't want people to get hurt. You don't want people to die. So there is this question of, like, is the benefit worth the cost? And you're making the healthy point that there are costs to military action. So this is, to me, this is the biggest crisis President Trump has faced. This is enormous. If what they said is true, they now have an ICBM. This is really big, and President Trump's going to have to make a really important decision about what to do about North Korea, and that's going to be a decision with long-term international consequences, no matter what he decides. Will he make a July 4th speech about this tomorrow? I would think he's going to come say something about this tomorrow. Oh, I think let's see, hold on one second here. Oh, a couple donations we got. I want to give a shout out to people. Yes, so, well, we definitely got a donation from, this is from, sorry, let me tell you who it's from. Denise Cotto gave $10, and she said, I just sent in $10 and issue a $10. She said, I just sent in $10 and I issue a $10 challenge to listeners. That's very nice of you, Denise Cotto. We really appreciate it. Let me just give a couple more shout outs real quick here to people who donated. William Love gave $5.10. Thank you so much, William Love. That's really kind of you. Paul Skinner gave $5. Thank you, Paul. And Nathan Zaremski gave $2. Thank you, Nathan. That's really nice of all of you. Very much appreciated. Sorry. Just got to write something down here. And again, if you'd like to donate, rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate, or you can donate in the YouTube chat room. Click on the $ at the bottom of the chat. Okay, I'm just looking at, this is new. China calls for calm and restraint after North Korea launches missile. Let me show you this. Let's see what that is. I'll show you. I just saw it. Here we go. China calls for calm and restraint after North Korea launches missile. I wonder what this link is. By the way, I think we can get rid of North Korea TV right now. They're just showing patriotic stuff. Goodbye, North Korea TV. So China calls for calm and restraint after North Korea launches missile. Nothing yet from American government. Sky News is also reporting Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman has called for restraint following North Korea's intercontinental ballistic missile test claim. Is China perhaps worried that there might be some military action in the offing? I'll leave that up on the air, right there. Still taking your comments. We're still awake. It's 3:56 a.m., but we're still up and we're still covering this and taking your comments. If you'd like to write in, give me a shout on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. Send me a comment, send me a question. I'll read it on the air. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitter. I cover a lot of breaking news stuff, so follow me if you want. And let's see. Some dude just sent me a map of range of missiles. Well, Jason Clements, first of all, just gave $5 Canadian, said, we need RSBN in the press briefings at whitehouse.gov. Thank you very much, Jason Clements. Very kind of you to make that donation. All right, let me show you what some dude sent me. Here we go. So some dude sent me this. Now, the thing to look at is the missile tested tonight was, you know what? Let me get rid of this. See where it says KN-14? KN-14 was the missile tested tonight that reportedly might have a range of 10,000 kilometers. Now, if it does have that range, if you look, you can see that line goes. It's the second to last line, so it kind of goes through. You can see it goes through like the middle of the U.S. So it hits California. A lot of the it's sort of like half of the U.S. Like a diagonal line is drawn through the U.S. and it can hit the top half of that. So that's that's the maximum range. Now, the range of what was fired tonight was not as far as that, but there's speculation maybe that this was the KN-14 and maybe it has that long a range. So that's quite worrying if that ends up being the range of the missile that was tested tonight. Thank you to some dude. Look at China says, China defends relentless efforts on North Korea after Trump's tweet. Well, were they not making relentless efforts before? So I get a little confused because we keep hearing like, well, they're putting pressure on them, but things don't happen. So it's hard to say what they're really doing. But maybe China will do more than they've been doing now. We don't know. Don't know. Oh, let me get the... There we go. There we go. We're back. Baghdad Ted says, how certain is everyone on if North Korea even has nukes? They're quite certain because they have done nuclear tests before. They have tested nuclear weapons before. Let's see. Rocket writes, and not to worry, eventually Kim Jong-un will be slapped down. Personally, I'd like to see U.S. And target practice on EA. On each North Korean missile as it enters international airspace. That's from Rocket. And Lee Johnson, yes, I saw that tweet about China. Thank you. Maybe I'll retweet that relentless efforts one. Where did that go? It's worded a little oddly, so I'm not going to retweet it yet. We'll go back to that picture, have that up there. By the way, happy July 4th, everyone, with this going on. But I do hope you all have a great July 4th. Thanks for staying up and staying with us. See, now it's like I'm gonna be sad because you know what'll happen is I'll go to bed and get a little sleep eventually, and I'm sure right when I go to bed, that's when President Trump will come on and make a big speech, and I'll miss it all, and I'll be so annoyed. But you know, you can't stay up. You can't stay up. You have to sleep at some point. So I'll try to sleep a minimum of time and get up and come back on and cover stuff. So this is something that I'm going to retweet this because I think this is a good tweet. This is from Jazur Simonson. Let me show you his tweet. He says, we were talking about this. He says, China may be trying, but it's hard to defend their efforts. North Korea just launched an ICBM. Huge escalation. I like that. I like that tweet from Jazur Simonson. Yeah, I mean, and they could be trying, but like he says, whatever they've done so far, it hasn't been enough because North Korea just launched an ICBM, and it is a huge escalation. What will President Trump do? What will he say tomorrow on Independence Day? What will he do? What will he say? I'm very interested in seeing what happens. Stan says, Steve, thank you for the great job you're doing. You're welcome. Left click on Pyongyang and you'll get the range, assuming a radius of 16 to 700. You can change it. Oh, happy 4th. You sent me a map, it looks like, here. I hope it's not a virus. It says maps on it. I'm going to trust you, Stan. I'm going to trust Stan right now and see what he sent me. Messages. Okay, so this is, I see. So we can put in radius units. Click to place a circle. So let's click on North Korea. Say they fired it from the middle of the country. Now we get our range. Okay, so all right. So this is incredibly helpful. Thank you, Stan. So what I just did is this is the range of the missile that was fired tonight. It's reportedly, as this missile was set up, had a range of 6,700 kilometers. The dark blue is where that could reach. So the dark blue you can see includes, look on the right there, it includes all of Alaska. See on the right there? See how all of Alaska is dark blue. So that maybe I'll shrink it a little bit. Should I shrink it or no? No, let's blow it up a little bit. Yeah, but now, oh, here we go. Perfect, I think. So you can see there's the missiles at, well, I messed it up a little bit. But the one tested tonight reportedly had this range. That could hit Alaska. Now, if we change it, the missile tested tonight reportedly has a maximum range, maybe. Some people are saying maybe of 10,000 kilometers. If we change the radius, if we change the radius to 10,000 kilometers, here's what we get. What? Oops. Sorry, folks. Hold on, folks. I'm messing everything up. There we go. Here's 10,000 kilometers. Now, if you look here, now look at the U.S. See how, if this missile tonight indeed has a 10,000 kilometer maximum range, that could hit. See that line in the United States crosses on the right, crosses half of it. Everything in the dark on the left of that line, it could hit. So we have no confirmation that this missile has that range, if they could reach that range with it, but a bunch of experts were speculating tonight that it might have that kind of range. So look at that's about half the country. So thank you very much, Stan, for sending that in. See, this is Shay Cotton. This person's been following this. They are, they study weapons, non-proliferation studies, and they say I really should go to bed at some point, but all the good information is now coming out. I agree. So we're staying up too. Let's see. JC says, Stephen RSBN, thank you for everything. Happy 4th of July from the West Coast. JC, happy 4th of July to you as well. El Denise Cotto says, somebody said, Dr. Steve Piznick said there's no way to win a nuclear war with North Korea. It would be mutual destruction. Well, I don't think, I don't think North Korea has many nuclear weapons right now. So I don't think it would be mutual destruction. But, you might think that the consequences of such a conflict are unacceptable. Pete Hudsbury, I'd like to know more about that source of the story you sent me, that Eliza Edwards person. I'm not necessarily trusting that source. I would need more confirmation of that. If you'd like to write in, we're still on the air. We're still hoping some more information comes in, maybe a response from the U.S. government. Write to me on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner, or email me, steve.lookner@rsbn.tv. I'm so sad. I wish I didn't really have to go to bed. It would be better if I could just. Oh, is that getting cut off there? Let's see something. Hold on a second. Are we seeing everything? No, we're good. I'm just trying to figure out. Are you? Hold on a second here. What am I looking at? Okay, we're good. Sorry, I got a little messed up here. I was looking at something and I thought I was looking at something else. So. I'm so sad because I worry that I'm gonna when I finally go to bed, then President Trump's gonna come on and speak right afterwards, and I want to be awake for that and streaming to you guys for that. But I'll do the best I can. I would like more information. So part of me is thinking it's possible I might, because it's 4:07 in the morning, I might end up ending the stream soon so I can get a little sleep and then try to wake up tomorrow and come back on the air again depending on what the news is. So I'll try to get a feel for, are we going to see more information in the next couple hours? Are we not? Stan, I was 99% joking about a virus. I didn't really think you sent it. He says, I would never send a virus intentionally. Here's a good tool to check if a website is safe. Keep doing a great job and take care of your health. Sleep is very essential for that. Thank you, Stan. Yes, I will get some sleep. Don't worry. See, now even like these people whose career is to follow this stuff, they're going to bed. So this guy, James Lewis, says, Jeffrey Lewis, okay, I really do now need to sleep. He says that, and then Shay Cotton says, I really should go to bed at some point. So everybody's thinking about it because they've been up all night. Oops. So I think it's going to be soon, folks. But every time I've said I was going to end a stream, what happened is some more news came out. So I'll keep watching for a few more minutes. So Joey MP, I understand what you're saying. Joey MP says, I don't think Trump would speak on this until at least 6 a.m. if he speaks at all. Joey, I'm wondering, would it even be later? If he hasn't spoken now, he's going to probably want to speak in front of the country. And that, then to me, you're talking maybe like 9 a.m. or something, or even later, because he'd want people on the West Coast to see it. So, but maybe they do it 9 a.m. Eastern or something, or 8 a.m. Eastern. It's possible. I don't know what payload size could be on this ICBM bag, Ted. Sorry. El Denise Cotto said, now we need a meme of Trump body slamming little Kim. All right, I'm getting close to wrapping this up because, let's see. Oh, that's interesting. So President Moon, I think, said, if this is correct reporting, President Moon of South Korea, hope North Korea didn't cross the bridge of no return. If North Korea crossed the red line, there's no way of knowing how South Korea, U.S. will respond. I think that's President Moon of South Korea. All right, I think it's about getting to that point. So, I think I'm going to make the executive decision to end the stream now, but I want to thank all of you for watching. And hold on a second here. Yeah, I think that's going to be it. So I'm going to end the stream now because I think there'll be more information about this tomorrow. And so I'd like to be able to use my sleep wisely. And I think sleeping a little now will give me more of a chance of getting up early enough tomorrow to catch whatever news there is tomorrow. So I'm sure we'll be talking more about this. But I appreciate all of you joining me and writing in. I appreciate the moderators. So look at JC and Webster have been up all night moderating. Thank you, JC and Webster. All your donations, thank you. If you haven't donated yet and you want to, go to rsbn.tv/donate. rsbn.tv/donate. We would really, really, really appreciate it because you allow us to be on the air covering these things. Follow me on Twitter. I'll be tweeting about this tomorrow at Lookner, at Lookner. Follow Right Side Broadcasting and at RSB Network. And subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell. And that way, if we go on the air tomorrow, next couple days, we do a live video, you'll get notified about it. And like and follow us on Facebook, all of those things. Oh, David Z just gave $1. Thank you so much, David Z. Very kind of you. We appreciate the donation. That's nice. That'll give me something to be happy about as I go to sleep. I can think about David's donation that we got right at the end. That's very kind of you. Let's see here. Webster Maven says, thanks, Steve. You rock. Good night. Good night. See you later today. The 4th, I think you said. Thank you, Webster. Happy July 4th, everybody, by the way. Everybody at Right Side wishes you happy July 4th. Okay, so I'm going to say goodbye. I see people saying goodbye in the chat room. Thanks for staying up, everybody. YouTuber is there. Looks like he's falling asleep in the chat room. Choo Choo, you're welcome. Jason Thornton, you're up late too. I love it. Jason Thornton loves late night live streams. Thanks, Linda Hull. Jason Clements, I'm not an I just said an executive decision. Doesn't mean I'm an executive. Good night, Patricia, Canada. Good night, Douglas Krantz. Good night, thank you, Eric Cicino. Thank you, worst username ever. Ket King, we'll talk to you soon. Everybody saying goodbye in the chat room. X Kittens, see you later. Thanks, Jason Thornton. Thanks, Magna Frisia. Thanks, Joe Barnes. Rocky Mike. Choo Choo Unstents. P-Cell. Kevin Nicholson. Harsh Jane, are you really watching from India? That's nice of you to watch from India. PLP 1676. I don't know if I'll be able to get a physicist later today. Sorry. Linda Hall, you're welcome. Jack's dad says sign off, please. Jack's dad, if you're tired, you can leave before I sign off. Thanks, Dylan Barrett. Thanks, Gibson Rocker. Thanks, Babak. Thanks, Lithuanian AV Geek. Thank you, Aviation Country. Thank you, Noah Velez. Appreciate it. Thanks, Soquika. Thank you, Rapid Rapier. Very nice of all of you to say good night. Thanks, 321. Have a good night, 321 RC Heli. Okay, now I'm gonna get off the air. I gotta go to bed. So I'm gonna get some sleep. I hope I can get up early enough to cover some more news. I hope I don't miss big news about this, but you never know. Hey, so hopefully you've enjoyed our coverage of this. Thank you all for joining me. Happy 4th from everybody. I hope you don't sleep through your 4th now. Make sure you get up and do some stuff on the 4th. But happy 4th, everyone. I'll see you later today on the 4th, probably with more news. So have a great night, great morning. Talk to you soon. See you.